Good Tuesday to you, everybody in COM 110. Welcome to week boom 4. How's everybody doing? Huh? All right, let's get this video off to a good start. Oh, the correct start with the second cup of coffee for today. Much better. There. Here I am, your sufficiently caffeinated public speaking instructor with this week's video. Okay, we got a lot going on, so without delay, let's get right into it. For this week, you will post your second of 4 speeches, and over in Canvas in the module for this week, you'll find a very short readings. It's again from the Speaker Lab, that online resource, which is a great resource, by the way. You'll find a link to the type of speech that you're going to be writing and posting this week. That is the demonstration speech, or sometimes called an instructional speech, tomato, whatever you like. And this is a speech in which as the name implies, you're instructing or you're demonstrating how to do something for people. Now, you are probably not aware of this, but you give these types of speeches, several times a week, especially if you have if you're involved in any kind of a volunteer, or you have little children, you're explaining how to do stuff. All right. So this is perhaps the most common form of speech that you give, but it's one well worth your time by way of mastery. Think of, now I'm going to get into the assignment here, but think of ways in which you've watched things being demonstrated. And when I say things, this assignment is wide open. You can demonstrate the actual physical process, like how you bake a cake, to some sort of internal process, like, how do you stay positive in the face of adversity, whatever. Okay. So think about, if you spend any time on YouTube, think about the types of videos that you're watching. And I'm going to bet you that either they are outright, or within them are demonstration or instructional speeches. That is somebody explaining how to do something, even if they're not actually explaining that thing. The popularity of the makeup tutorial YouTube video comes to mind. That is where someone is talking about, oh, I'm going to go out tonight to a restaurant. This is how I put on my makeup in the morning. That I've been really talking, really loving, and people have been talking up, but I'm going to be there with this one guy who blah, blah, blah. Okay. The speaker isn't talking overtly, directly about how to apply your makeup. Now, she may, product placement, because hey, we're not all doing this YouTube thing for free. She may say, oh, and I love this eyeliner, flash the eyeliner, which is not an eyeliner. This is one of my favorite fountain pens. Affiliate link below, something like that. But the purpose of the video, while, the subject might be relationships or going out with friends or something, is to show you how to put makeup on. Okay. So you come across these sorts of speeches, and you probably give them a lot. Now, in the readings from the Speaker Lab, it will give you some examples of demonstration speeches, and I think it starts by asking if you've ever watched a TED Talk. And you can, if you don't know what that is, you can click over, to the TED, capital T, capital E, capital D, website, and watch TED Talks on just about anything. But whatever you decide to do this week, it need not be formal or life-changing. A lot of TED Talks are, how do you manage depression? How do you get people to pick up garbage? How do you lose weight? What's the significance of these cave paintings from the south of France and Spain? These sorts of things. For this week, unlike last speech, week 2, in which we had 3 categories. You get to pick. Okay? You get to pick your speech. Now, I will give you, there are a couple of caveats. Okay? Like the first one, you need to write a script, and your script must be at least 500 words, no longer than 750 words. And I thought about putting a time limit on your demonstration speech, but having, the 750 word cap sort of does that. So I'm expecting that these things will run no longer than 10 minutes. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I will go into the module. I didn't already, but I'll go into the module and maybe even modify the instructional sheet saying that you have 8 minutes. That's a max. That's plenty time to do your demonstration. And demonstrate what, you might ask? Well, that's up to you. Okay? So whatever you like. If there's something, if you have a hobby, if you love to cook, if you have a particular, mojo when it comes to navigating COM 110, it's up to you. All right. Now, how you construct this speech, whether you use props or you don't use props, that is also up to you. But what we're looking for is efficacy. When you're finished explaining this, could the listener do whatever this is? All right. That will be a significant part of the evaluation of this assignment. Okay. So if you have questions, shoot them over to me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Do my best to answer your questions. Okay. This week you are finishing up a quiz from the readings, which, I think is pretty straightforward. Same dealio as last time, 15 questions, 30 possible points. You have an hour. You can use your texts. No, you can't go backwards. No, you can't change your answers. I mean, come on. That's a fair trade. Wouldn't you say? I'll let you use the books. And ready, set, go. And you get through the material. Right? And I'll be grading those. They're due. I'm making this video on Monday, September the 9th, and they're due, this evening, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. All right, so I'll start grading those as we move through the week. Okay, for the meaty part of the video, your speeches from week 2. All right, they're all done. They're, go over into Canvas. Now there's a couple. I'm looking right here. I got at least one of you who I don't see a submission from you. All right, so you know who you are. I'm not going to call you out by name in the middle of a video. You got to get that. Actually, you got to get in touch with me now because we're like way past the assigned date. Okay. For this week, as well as as well as week 2, it is imperative that you follow the directions. I hate to beg the obvious or beat an old horse that you've heard from everybody else. Most of life is following the directions. Okay? That's the social glue that keeps us all together. We agree on directions and then we do it. We're a lot less individualistic than we like to imagine ourselves, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay? But enough of the larger social concerns. Back to this assignment and last one. If you didn't follow the directions, put yourself in my shoes. You didn't follow the directions. I'm not sure how I evaluate your work when there's no link to a speech or there's no printed text for the speech. And I said, hey, you got to have a printed text for the speech. Or you uploaded a video in a form, like an MOV file. And I last time I told you, and I think I said this in the instructional sheets, Canvas is a funky little deal, man. Sometimes it will allow me to read these files, and sometimes it just goes, danger, danger, and it doesn't allow me anywhere near them. you must write up your script. And at the bottom of your script, put the link to the video that you posted on YouTube. No, do not send me an MOV file. No, do not send me, an LP, whatever. I don't care if it's PC or if it's Mac. No, no, no. Upload it to YouTube. And if you're not sure how to do that, use Google to find out how to create a YouTube account and upload a video. You can record it on whatever you like. You can record it on a potato camera. I mean, so I'm sorry. This is allergy season now for me. That imagery really makes me laugh. So long as the video quality is sufficient to convey the information that you're trying to get out. Okay? But you must upload it to YouTube, and you must put a link down at the bottom. If you put a link to something else, or if you fail to put a link, I cannot give you full credit for the assignment. And there were a number of you that fell afoul of the not following the directions. So please go into Canvas. If you haven't seen your grade already, and I'm just, I'm flipping through them as I'm speaking to you. And you see, depending on how way outside the lines you were, I may have given you a 0. Now, look, I don't want to give you a 0 straight up on one of 4 assignments. Okay, so at least for now, the 0 is serving as a placeholder. Okay, so if you get in touch with me, yeah, we can probably work something out. I can't, I can't tell you what that's going to be because I don't know your circumstances. All right. But please, for the love of all things sacred, I'm begging you, read the directions, follow the directions. That's all I'm asking. Okay. Otherwise, I can't help you. Okay. What do you want to demonstrate? That's up to you. No longer than 8 minutes. Make sure that you finish the quiz this evening. I mean, if it were me, I would, if you haven't already, I would focus on finishing the quiz before the clock strikes midnight or 11:59 for this evening. And then I would turn my attention to writing and practicing this next speech. All right. So let me give you some feedback beyond follow the directions, because that feedback's like, duh, on your speech and what you can do. Now, I've tried to be as specific as I can while being brief, because there are a lot of you and one of me in evaluating your speech, the first one, number 2. So if you haven't already, read the comments that I've left for you. And now they won't, all necessarily apply, because this is a different type of speech. But in particular, look at the comments that I've left you concerning your video. All right. Here are probably the top 3 elements in terms of what you really should be attentive to, because these occurred over and over and over and over again throughout the class. Number 1, be careful of camera placement. I mean, I'm going to tell you straight up, where my webcam is placed for these videos, for me to get, mostly an eye level shot. Here, I'm going to move a little bit. I have to, I wankle my chair clear up here. See, this is just even a tad high, because I don't want my eyes up that high in the screen. So I'm going to lower it down. Okay, I'm obeying what's called the rule of thirds in regards to my eye placement. Okay, so that's the number 1. Be careful about where you place your camera. Please place your camera on eye level. Stack up some more books. Use a cardboard box. There are all kinds of ways that you can do this. No up the nose shots. Many of you did this, and I said that the first time. You don't want to see it, my nostrils, eh? No, you don't. and the audience doesn't want to see up yours either. All right, so place that camera well. Number 2, work on the elements that go into the video. Now, I get it. You're not expected to go out and buy a high-end webcam. I mean, this really isn't that great of a webcam. I could drop more money on this, certainly. You can always spend more money. Most smart devices have cameras that are, adequate. Make sure that the lens is clean. I mean, there are a couple of videos that were posted. It's like I was like, are they doing this while they're sitting inside of a fish tank? Because it looks awfully murky. Okay. Be attentive to the light on your face. Watch the video before you upload it. If you're not used to it, it's going to be hard hearing your voice outside of your own head, and it's going to be difficult seeing yourself outside of your own head, and even when you look in the mirror, because you're so used to that. Yeah, I get it. Watch your video anyway. If it's dark, there's a weird shadow falling across your face, fix it. And you go, well, how? Put a lamp. Let's say, here's your camera. Put a lamp behind the camera so it's shining and illuminating your face. Use the editing tools that may be available to you on your camera. Use editing tools that are free on the internet that you can use to edit what's called the white balance. That's the warmth of the light within a video, or the brightness. If it's really dark, crank it up. Okay. And in that same vein, for number 2, be aware of your surroundings. If there's a fan overhead that's going go to a different room to do the video. If there's a dog running around the background barking, got to do it again. All right. If there's something in the background that seems out of sync with what you're doing. So here, I'm your instructor. I'm your teacher. So I do these videos in a part of my office that, by way of backdrop, lends itself to the idea that I'm the teacher. So you got a lot of books, I guess over there, of things here on the side desk, books that we're using for the various classes, a table lamp, because this is where I study, a cup with pencils in it, because those are the things that I use. Schooly stuff, teachery stuff. I mean, maybe I should put an apple, right there. Okay. Take down the Minecraft poster. In its day, I love Minecraft. Okay. But that doesn't go with, say, a speech on the 19th Amendment or I Have a Dream speech. Be aware of the surroundings, the lighting, anything that's going to distract your audience. And then number 3, this is the biggie. Vary the tone and tempo and tenor of your voice. Your voice is an instrument to convey emphasis and emotion. Please. You see that? It's acting. It's part of public speaking. Now, does that mean you're not passionate about what you're giving your speech on? No. Especially, if the really good speaker is the one that can do the same speech over and over. And yet each time that she gives it, it sounds as if it's the first time. You'll see this in musical performance. Actually, you can read about this by way of musicians and musical performance. They say one of their greatest challenges, in addition to the pressures of the business, is getting up there and performing the song with the same sort of intensity and emotion that the audience expects, because they've been listening to the highly polished, well-produced version that, they got from Spotify or Apple iTunes or Amazon or wherever they got it. And then the speaker gets up there and the audience is going, wait, what? This doesn't feel like the song that I love. Who are these fraudsters? Vary your voice. Vary it in speed, in tone, up, down, okay, in tempo, to convey importance. So here's how you do it. You might be saying, okay, yeah, I'm not quite sure how I get that. Read through your script. When you're coming to bits that are important, like say, you know, for those of you that did the I Have a Dream speech, okay, and you wanted to emphasize the tensions that were going on in the nation. You know, they were battling over the civil rights legislation. There had been some assassinations, some bombings, race riots, counter protests, very tense. Take a pen or a pencil or a highlight marker, because nobody's going to see this but you. And, you know, put a line down the border or with the highlight marker. And that's your cue to add emotional intensity to that section of the speech. Nobody needs to see this but you. All right. Also, we're going to call this point number 3A. That's point number 3A. Point number 3B. I realize this is hard, but this is what you're here for. You must practice giving a speech to seem as if you're giving a speech and not reading a speech. So, you know, and I'll have commented on this. If you, and I may or may not be able to see the paper as the audience, all right? But if you were, I don't even know what this is, but, you know, if you're giving a speech in which you're basically like, or some of you were just no. Look at the audience. When you watch your speech, try to watch it. You know, and this helps if you record the speech and then go take a break. You know, go to your happy spot. Take a walk. Go get a coffee. Play with the dog. Fold the laundry, you know, whatever it is. Maybe that's not your happy place. Whatever it is that lets your brain take a break from thinking about an assignment, go do that for a period of time. Now, it gets that period of time will get shorter as you practice this. Then come back to the assignment. And this is you know, a sound methodology, whether you're writing a paper or giving a speech, whatever. And then try to look at what you've done as if it were somebody else. So if you're writing a paper, for example, print the paper out and print it out in a larger font, so it doesn't look like what you've been staring at on the screen. If you have been staring at yourself in your phone, I don't know which way you have your screen flipped as you make the video. Okay. Upload it to your YouTube channel. Leave it on private so it doesn't go out there yet. And then go to your happy place and come back and watch it on your computer screen, you know, whether that's your desktop or your laptop. Put it in a different venue than you've been looking at it while you do it, and try to look at it as if it were somebody else. And ask those questions. Oh, hey, is the speaker, you know, looking at the audience, the camera, or is the audience looking up the face of the speaker? Is the speaker in an environment that's not distracting to me? Are there, you know, cats and dogs walking around in the background, or the sound of a lawnmower? Okay, that's a buzzkill, man. All right, or is there weird lighting or no lighting? And is there emphasis by way of variation of speed in terms of the reading of the words and intonation in terms of the voice? Yeah, you can make a little checklist. And if you know it's yes, 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 okay, turn the thing loose. If it's no, 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 you got to do it again. Now, there was one of you that used some jump cuts in putting your speech together. I thought that was very interesting. They even had a soundtrack. Now, by the way, and I won't mention your name here in the video, but soundtrack person, turn it down just by, you know, production note. Turn it down just a little. All right. I'm leaving the creativity open to you. Okay. So going into this next speech, those are points that you need to be aware of. Now, a couple of final words about the last speech. When you're giving a commemorative speech, which is in effect an historical speech, because it's like, okay, why, what was this thing, and why should we care now? Okay. Don't be afraid to be accurate, even in the face of historical complexity. What do I mean? Well, you'll see in the comments for a number of you what I mean, but for those of you who are like, what's Dr. Gardner talking about? Okay, the 19th Amendment. There were a number of you. I lost track. Women had zero rights. They were treated terribly. Nobody loved them. They were disregarded. They were just looked at as baby machines. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't own property anywhere. I'm sorry, historically, that's incorrect. Big time. That is not the position of women in the 19th, even in the 18th century in the United States. Right? That's not even what the 19th Amendment was about. All right. So and I'm not poking at anybody in particular here in what I'm saying. I'm talking about, it's okay to be accurate even in the face of complex history. Don't project cliches that are current back onto events that are past, because it's not honest. I mean, we can still say, yeah, it's good that we have the 19th Amendment, okay? Without saying, oh, without it, women would be kicked to the curb and turned into baby machines. I mean, and that came up a number of times, not kicked to the curb, turned into baby machines, but they were just seen as reproductive, vessels. One of the ironies of that misrepresentation is, if you read the literature from the suffragettes, they make the case for giving women the vote grounded in the reality that women ran the household. They said, look, I mean, this is essentially the hand that rocks the cradle that ultimately rules the world approach to this is why we should be voting. See, look, if you trust us with all of this, we are already shaping the nature of the country. It's a natural that we should be voting. Okay. Be historically accurate when you're giving commemorative speeches. Stay away from cliches and knee jerks and sweeping assumptions. Use your head, and don't be afraid to say, this was a murky picture. Again, back to women's suffrage. If we look at the documents, there were women writing articles saying, no, women should not have the vote. When we looked at historically in many places where women could vote, and remember, the 19th Amendment concerned federal elections. So in local elections where women could vote, in many states, it happened to be that the voter participation was low. So this is, and I'm not using any of this to justify, well, there shouldn't have been a 19th Amendment, by golly, because women didn't want it and they weren't doing it. No. That's not the point. The point is that we're aiming for accuracy, even in the face of complexity and subtlety in how things actually were. Right? That is a better, by way of more scholarly approach to an historical topic. Avoid the omnipresent tendency to recast the past to make it fit the political winds of the present. Okay. And likewise, for those of you that wrote, to the Martin Luther King speech, nothing has changed. And it's like, yeah, no, you're just not looking at the facts, man. That is factually inaccurate. Now, did I remove points from your assignment because of, depending on how egregious and repetitious those sorts of inaccuracies were. Yes. Did I remove a lot of points? No. All right, but coming up, now this is an exception because this is you get to demonstrate whatever melts your butter. Maybe even that's the demonstration, how to melt butter. Just kidding. Don't do that. But coming up after this, we'll be back at speeches that require you to do some research, do some study to get the information straight in order to present it to your audience. So make sure that you do your work. You're Regent scholars here. You got this. Okay. All right. If you have any questions about your score or any remarks, send them to me. All right. Otherwise, for today, finish, and that's what I'm going to say. Make sure that you finish the quiz, then go to the module and take a look at the requirements for the assignment for this next speech. Follow them carefully and read that little, it's a very short selection from the speaker lab and start drafting your second speech. Okay. Thanks so much, everybody. Sorry for the long video. I will see you on Canvas. God bless. Bye-bye.